there is really exciting stuff in this trailer that, especially with commentary that came along with it. So one of the things that I am most excited about coming out of this is that level design wise, this is fundamentally different than the Armored Core series that I have seen so far. And that is exactly what we need. Like if Armored, like I was genuinely worried that the new Armored Core 6 was just going to be like a lot of the other games, which is just like endless hallway level or like random like open field with buildings. You know what I mean? Like yeah, I love what I'm seeing here of the multi-layered tiers, and this is also apparently to accommodate for build variety. So you see a downward path here, there's like a middle path, and then the character like just flies over. So what's really interesting to me is that like it seems like depending on your legs, depending on your AC setup, like you may or may not be able to just fly around, right? Like a lot of ACs that carry heavier weapons and stuff are probably going to be more ground bound. So there's like a launch pad. I don't know if we see it in this one. I know we see it in some of the other footage. This is a great example of a lesson learned, or what we might even call a Souls-like element. Obviously, the term Souls-like is stupid, but this is an example of like the development studio has learned we know how to make interesting, complex, interconnected levels. And they're bringing that to this franchise. This is exactly what I want to see. I want to see this for every level. I want to see like crazy interconnectedness. I want to see coming around and stuff. Like that's what this is exactly what I want to see out of level design. I don't want to play in a giant open field. I don't want to play in endless hallways. This is what I'm talking about. So I was like, hey, no way. Yeah. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, this is what I want. But yeah, you can see the person skips like a huge portion of the level. Right? There's this entire left side of the map right here. And they're just like, nah, I don't think I will. I think I'll fly, bro. Which is just cool. That means that like we're being rewarded for build variety, right? You can explore the levels in different ways depending on how you build your AC. Very cool. Very, very, very good. One of my biggest disappointments from the demo, from all the stuff, is not having HUD. That's why we're gonna watch Vati's video, because Vati does a weird, like, he like photoshopped his own version of it to try and give an approximation, which was nice to see. It's very silly that we don't get HUD-based gameplay, because the HUD is really important. Try Quattro rifles, yeah. I'm calling it now, says Ice Dude. Dual rifles will still be meta 12 years after the last competitive AC game, but I'm happy to be proven wrong. Cool. Yeah, so okay. So here are some things. Right here. That's a detail. Did you notice that? To me, that looks like iframes. You seeing that? To me, that looks like iframes. To my eyeball, that looks like dodging through a missile. There are no iframes, friend. Says who? Source or fake? Looks to me like a usual ER connection. So there's also a bunch of stuff here that is worth looking at. Just in terms of like, I said this before, and you guys know this. I said that one of the most important things that they're going to need to figure out in this game is how to make bullets impact, and how to actually give game feel and like reaction to shooting lead, right? And I love what they're doing with the enemy interactions here. Like you see, like there's a bunch of bullets that kind of just hit, and then there's a staggering, like do, burn, right? Beautiful, dude. Like that's what I'm talking about. I want to see an impact from my shots. So I don't love. Yeah, very nice. I love the dodges are super sick. The strafing is super sick. Oh yeah, the animations are gorgeous. I'm gonna come in here with a big "I told you so" though. Yeah, do it. Yeah, like this is everything that I wanted in terms of PvP, I think is in the video that I'm seeing. Like, non-linear exploration, you know, rewards for having build variety. Because, like, in my opinion, that's actually one of the weaker points of Elden Ring, is that having different builds doesn't really open up different paths or, like, exploration opportunities. So build connected to exploration is not a thing that I think Souls does very well, and I like that as an adaptation. For the shoulder charge, Vati added the pipe sound effect. I think I saw that going around Twitter this morning. Yeah, the melee combat in particular, I think that, like, it's obvious that in elite fights and boss fights, they are drawing from Souls, right? Like, look at this combat and tell me this isn't Souls. You said PlayStation first for you? Yes. Yeah, I'll be playing on PlayStation on day one. But I'll be buying it for both. That's the truth. Right? Like, it's dodge mechanics, punish mechanics. There's an entire stagger mechanic. So there's something called AC... What's it called? AC overload or something like that. Where you basically do enough posture damage to get a stagger on people. Yeah, I'm not saying they don't have melee. I'm saying that look at the design of this melee and tell me that that isn't Souls inspired. So, and I'm talking about in terms of design, Xenos. I'm not talking about in games balance. I'm talking design. So this is a mechanic I love. I love this. I'm really curious to see what this will do in, like, obviously the PvP ramifications of all these things are really curious. I love that idea. I love the idea of being able to lock on and prep your missiles before jumping out is super sick. Even just like, again, in terms of PvE, like, I love the idea of being able to scan a room. Nice, God, that's awesome, dude. Yeah, see, like, that little, like, UI effect there, I want to know what that means, and I just want more UI. I'm really annoyed that we don't have UI. I've never played an Armored Core game in my life, but it definitely looks sick. Yeah, to be honest, I've taken the advice of some of my friends who are big Armored Core fans, and they've literally said, just go in blind. Don't play the other ones. Now, this is really cool, too. I'm glad we got a bit of menu exploration. Let's look at what the menus have to teach us. I mean, first of all, from an outsider's perspective, hold on, I'm gonna hide my webcam here for a sec. From an outsider's perspective, like, just, I have no idea what any of this means. This is very legible. This is a very legible screen to me, and I like it. Like, I'm seeing, like, I don't know what these things mean. AP, defensive performance, I have no idea what this means. But it's very legible and understanding. Current load, current end load. I don't know what end load is, but, you know, very clear, like, you know, nice little bars. Attack power, impact. I'm assuming impact is probably something like, you know, stagger damage, consecutive hits. Maybe that's like a burst weapon. Oh, this is a laser dagger. Maybe I can do a 3-hit combo. Weight and load. Energy load? Energy load, maybe. Energy load. Ah, yes. Okay, thanks. Thanks, Hunter. Yeah, I just connected the dots there. Okay, so 133 times 4. Yeah, okay. Stagger. Total ammo. Okay, great. Oh, AP is armor points, right? That's your HP. Yeah. Okay, I remember that now. Oh, yeah, look at this. This is nice. Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about, chat. Like, this is why I feel like this game is going to appeal to Souls fans. So, this thing weighs more. It does more damage in every category, but it weighs more. It has more energy load by, like, a lot. And it slows our boost speed because of its weight. Which is just, oh man, that's sick. Like, that's, I can't wait to do, like, Blue Dancer equivalent build. You know what I mean? Like, just, like, all boost speed. Like, all boost speed, one SMG. One little energy, or just energy daggers. That's definitely, I'm unironically, like, I'm gonna run, like, the one, like, the one dude with all dodge and one dagger, like oh man. Oh, but yeah, like yeah, this menu, I'm not gonna lie, this was a big factor for me of whether I was gonna really believe in this game. Like, to be honest, one of the biggest turnoffs for me of the old Armored Core games was those like massive like menus, right? Just wait till you toggle display in the bottom left. Yeah, and that's fine. You know what I mean? That's totally fine with me. I'm happy that this is a collapsed menu. You need to have the like at a glance, easy to access information. And then for sure, like just like Souls, right? I want to go deep, but I want to get the like important information at a glance, like out of the way. And especially, the truth is, especially for new players, they're just going to engage with this, right? They're going to see do extra weight, lower dash or lower boost speed, right? They need to make a Transformers mod. One of the things I would love to hear Hunter's perspective on is that, as far as I can tell, and this is something that people have talked about in some other videos and stuff, is that energy shortfall. They're just running with energy shortfall. Oh no, they're switching their generator out. Okay, cool. Again, even just those little things, like that's such a nice visual indicator. Look at that. Like, we don't get the like even Souls doesn't do this very well. If you're over encumbered, it's this tiny little in the corner that lets you know what I mean? Like, I like this. This is great design. So all of this just makes things so much more accessible to a random person. Like, I love it. I love everything I'm seeing with this. I love the menus. I love, even just like, to be honest, even just the aesthetics of the parts is doing it for me. Like, I love the like weird engine with all the like cooling things on it. Like, it's just cool, man. Please give me a functional arena ladder. That'd be cool. So yeah, like this is yeah, and so there's something called the expansion as well that apparently wasn't shown in the DLC. I'm curious what that is. I don't know what that is. But yeah, this is great. This fight is one of the fights that also really impressed me. Is that like, this is clearly like some kind of elite enemy, or is that another core? I'm not really sure. In any case, it's like this is engaging. That's another AC, yeah. Sick. Like, this is what I'm interested in this game. It's like fighting other armored cores, fighting elite type enemies where you have to like dodge and like lock on. But it does apparently look to be a fixed lock on system, which is very different from the other Armored Core games. We're probably going to watch G's video on this to hear what his insight is on it, because he played the multiplayer. Yeah, the kick move is very sick. Like, but look at the physics impacts of these things. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at that, dude. That's what I'm talking about. I was really worried that, you know, with these games that they wouldn't have, like, look how crunchy that is. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of those impacts are, like, beautiful. Yeah, like, so it's, again, all these little like small arms fire. It's just like plink, plink, plink. It's like, that's fine, you know, little shots and stuff, but oh, like, yeah, those beautiful little EMPs or something. And then I'm guessing we're building up stagger. We get some nice stagger, and then like, yeah, these beautiful punish moments. Like, this is what I'm talking about, like, where this ruins your game. If you can't do this right, where you actually have satisfying, like, you know, punishes and stuff. God, that is sick, dude. That is so crunchy. Like, that's what I'm talking about. I want that, like, all those impacts, knocking them flying. Beautiful. That's what I want. Yeah, and then obviously boss fights. Like, And again, this is what I was talking about, and this is what I'm going to keep talking about when I say, like, you cannot watch this boss fight and tell me that this boss fight never would have existed in this game in this way without souls being a thing. This is Souls-like. Cope all you want, call it whatever. Call it game boss, it's just boss design. Call it whatever you want to call it. Like, this is clearly taking what lessons learned from the Souls franchise and making a cool boss. And that's what they should do. That's what they absolutely should do. Because like this, and it's blending these two things together. That's what I'm really excited about this game. I'm just building an Evangelion, yeah. Armored Core, like, yeah, I can't wait for it to be Soul Sekiro Coreborn. But yeah, the point is, it's a satisfying, interesting looking boss fight where we're gonna have to dodge, attack, weave in attacks. You know what I mean? Like, try and get staggers on the boss, dodge stuff. Boom. Homie didn't dodge. And it just looks great. It looks wonderful. And then we're gonna watch a bit of Vati.
Though, if you think these stats are overwhelming, I've got news for you. So, this is probably the simplified version. It reminds me a lot of Armored Core 4, where you were shown the most important stats on parts, but
see, like, goddamn skull emoji, dude. Look at this freaking Microsoft Paint ass menu, dude.
The display to reveal.
Jesus Christ. What an upgrade.
So stats can get pretty intense.
See, like, eventually I'm sure we're gonna look at this in current game, but like,
while having a simplified
what a night and day.
Glanceable icons.
Look at the difference. Look at this. Look how easy this is to read compared to that. Tell me that, like, even the simplified menu. Look at this. What an look at this. It's so bad. I hate it.
Toggle the display to reveal.
I'm sorry, Ice. It's not personal. It's just these menus are
view and
this like, cuz just being totally candid with you, that's the stuff that made me not want to play these games. And I think that to a casual person, to a person who's not invested in the series, that's the stuff that makes you bounce off the game, right? So like, just in terms of having a like God, this is gorgeous.
This is obviously the more modern approach. I really hope that they don't shy away from these overwhelming stat screens, because they are such a hallmark of the series.
Yeah, I agree as well.
The player actually accessed this garage mid-mission after being destroyed by this quad-legged enemy. Their mid-range biped build was having a lot of trouble dealing any kind of damage to this enemy at range, so they wanted to change their build to an agile, close-range one instead. And they did it all manually, and it took less than a minute, and it was so convenient. Instead of having to do the entire mission again, they simply died, they loaded up the garage from the menu, they tweaked their build, and then they returned to the checkpoint that they had unlocked in their mission. And they were back with a different build completely. But as to the fight itself, there's actually so much to break down in this fight, but the main thing I really want...
I'm hoping that there is something more interesting going on in the story of the game or something that justifies the sort of mid-mission tweaking of your mech or something. I would like just some sort of, just a little bit of like throwaway lore or something, like, you know, you're hopping in a new mech, or I don't know, something. The customizing mid-mission, I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest.
Happens here.
I'm going to be honest.
Where
it seems
finally stagger.
I get that that's going to be important. Again, that is a new player function. I like the idea of being asked to like make a core that can beat a level. Do you know what I mean? But I also get the frustration of like having to go back through potentially a really long level again. So I don't know.
Whereas in Sekiro, this would enable an execution on stagger.
It's deep.
In Armored Core 6, it's up to you.
Yeah. Like, yes, exactly. Like a loadout drop, or give me like, I don't know, some sort of like like you find some weird machine shop and you like take all, I don't know.
Deliver that execution. The enemy is now taking
Give me
extra
something,
damage.
you know what I mean?
So
like justify
if you have
it.
burst attacks, now's the time.
God.
What's more, it seems
fight
you
looks
can
so
prolong this staggered state with certain attacks, keeping them stun locked with the right combo potentially, which might give a really high skill ceiling to this whole process. If you listen carefully here, you can hear a narrator say, "Alright tourist, that's enough." That's because the enemy leader of this facility has been shit-talking you this entire time. The dialogue that I heard...
What if I told you a very common mechanic from all the previous titles is that you have hangered weapons, so you drop your mains out and pop your extra weapons?
Witty,
oh
and
yeah,
well-delivered.
Cool.
That is a very welcome change from past Armored Core games. There was also some banter between this narrator and your own female operator, who is there to support you through your missions.
And again, this is a small detail, but I hope that we get to customize our pilot. I know it's a small detail, but I think that will help people who aren't totally sold on the mecha thing feel like they have a character in the suit. You know what I mean?
About what's ahead.
I hope we have
And
something.
a main boss is ahead. But before this, in the
You
demo,
won't?
the player actually called a resupply.
Just saying
drop,
what I'm hoping for.
replenishing their health, their repair kits, and their ammo, and then it was time to fight this thing. A boss that has its own health and stagger meter that appears at the top of the screen. Its attacks are extremely well animated.
Look at those!
and
Look at those
telegraphed,
nice
and
animations.
It has a
dude.
ton of area denial and AOE, and
So
it's just
here's
so
another, like, this is what I'm talking about where I'm excited. Look at the visual language of this boss, okay?
It was time to fight this thing.
Okay,
A
shush,
boss
Lottie. So he jumps up here, he's shooting, he's jumping over. It's like, that's effective, that's effective. He shoots here, look at this. Wonk! Beautiful, dude. That is such a beautiful, no text. You don't need to be like, that wasn't very effective. It's just, the bullet just goes, boink.
Of course, as mentioned earlier, the center of the screen features your fire control
Map all
system.
weapons to face buttons and
Lock-on,
smash at once.
essentially.
Yeah.
It's circular like it was in Armored Core 5, and while you're out of combat even, it stays in the center of your
Yeah,
screen.
my speed is
It has
zoom in
these
and my altitude is
sliders
sheesh.
that
Yeah,
help you
exactly.
keep track of your remaining magazine capacity as you fire your left and right arm and back weapons, which I'm a huge fan of. So
I don't
the
like
UI
the big
is
circle. I'm
nice.
not gonna lie.
It's
I don't
super
like
clean,
that.
and it displays a ton of information, but it's this lock-on behavior that I think is the most fascinating thing about
I hope
Armored
they
Core
do away
6
with
so
that,
far.
or give us
And
options.
This is the part of the UI that I kind of love the most. So again,
The
when you
big
get in
circle
range of
is
an
the
enemy,
silliest
this
part of the UI to
lock-on
me.
element jumps over to them, while the lock-on display itself starts to display that enemy's health and stagger meter at the top, in addition to your ammo in the bottom left and right. Inside the lock-on though, there's this little number which dictates how many of your missiles will go to this enemy should you fire them. Again, if you're soft locked on, that number will be split between nearby enemies, and if you're hard locked on, all of your missiles will go towards them.
Cool.
Additionally, the lock-on actually updates with an enemy's distance from you, which is
Oh.
extremely important information because
Cool.
staying at optimal weapon range is a really big thing in Armored Core. And it
Optimal
also
weapon
shows
range.
little damage numbers which pop up as you pop off, and that's really important to give you visual feedback on the effectiveness of your range. Or
We get a
the
stagger meter
effectiveness
in Armored
of
Core,
your
but not
weapon
Elden
type.
Ring? Oof.
You want to know if you're dealing damage, and I always loved this feature when it was added in Armored Core 4, so I'm very glad to see that return. I even noticed some little enemy status words pop up around the lockbox, like unaware would pop up if the enemy
Oh.
didn't know you were stealthed, and ACS load limit, I think, popped up if you staggered them. So, this lock-on is doing a lot of heavy lifting in Armored Core 6, and I love it. I'm glad they've baked so much information into this UI, because that is such a huge part of what Armored Core is all about, and what their design team deserves props for is the fact that they've baked all this information in while keeping everything looking sleek and unobtrusive. It's
That
very
is
clever
nice.
design, and I hope they show off the HUD soon, because I'm probably just butchering it in Photoshop now.
Yeah, so like, because and this is key for the franchise though, is like the PvP element of the game like definitely needs to be good, right? Because this is the same argument that we make about PvP for Elden Ring and Souls that we're going to make for this game. PvP is how this game's going to live and survive after day one, right? So making sure that PvP is good is ensuring the longevity of the game. So hearing news about PvP is going to put a lot of people's minds at ease or confirm all of the fears. I completely understand your perspective, but at this point it's almost so different by all those small changes alone that it should be a new IP like they did with Sekiro when it started as Tenchu. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I'm really like, I'm not that person, so I can't share your perspective on it. Like, I don't know what makes it cross that line where it's no longer an Armored Core game anymore. But to me, it's an exciting mecha IP. That's what I'm excited about. Even if the BSP asks, this game is gonna be fun as hell. Yeah, absolutely, and like it'll be a fun PvE experience for sure. But yeah, it's the same argument that we hope that the PvP is good and well balanced so that the game can have continued long life, right? Armored Core games had 2 major overhauls over its lifespan. Yeah. Ideally, you have an element like this lock-on that lowers the skill floor so you can actually play accessible as a casual, but other elements that ensure the skill ceiling is very high. Completely agree. And I do think that if you're going to casualize the game, the camera is the place to do it, right? The lock-on system and the camera is 100% the way to do it. Because if a casual just can't see, like they just can't aim, they're going to get so frustrated, right? If they mess up dodges and die, skill issue, get good, right? Or they bring the wrong mech, skill issue, get good. But like, if you make camera management super hard for people, there are people who can't even do double thumbsticks well. You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to make the camera easy. If that's where you're going to casualize the game, that's the place to do it. Which again, for me, as an outsider on the series, yay! Thank you, FromSoft. Woohoo! The levels look way more intricate. Yeah, the level design looks wonderful. I'm a big fan. I hope it has that nice Dark Souls circularity where you like go through an area and unlock a shortcut and then come back and go around again. Yep, as someone who's never played AC, I agree. And to be honest, that's the majority of people, so I understand why they would make these changes.